pass the test a quarter way through the season, and does he have any more tests to pass?
Well, we're 3-0, so I don't know how we. I don't know, and he's played really well, so he's passed the test so far. But you know, 3 games don't make a season. We got a long way to go. We go out and stink it up this week, and they'll yeah, I told you so. He put the other guy in. You know, he just needs to focus on what he's been doing, and so after 3 games, that's all we can go on. He's done great. He's done great. Proud of him.
Sorry, Coach. In the interest of full disclosure, are you at least mildly jealous that only your players are eligible to win that O'Rourke McFadden leather helmet?
Yeah, that's the main goal, is to keep that trophy here. That's a neat thing. It's always fun to see who wins that. I've slipped it on a time or two, so I've gotten to wear it a couple times. I think Deshaun won it maybe last year. Wayne won it last year. Okay, but that is a special trophy to me. It really is. There's a lot of trophies around here, but that's one that really means a lot to me, because that was my first win up there at BC, and I still remember Spiller putting that helmet on. And I mean, you'd have thought we won the Super Bowl. It was an awesome moment, and so I've always been very fond of that trophy, and you know, we'd like to keep it here. But
it's obvious that
we know we got a lot of work to do.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It's obvious that this team is very well led by the players. Is there one player that you think is the guy in that locker room, or do you have a group? And then is there one player that has surprised you with his leadership capabilities?
You know, I wouldn't say that he's the guy. I think that's what makes this team so neat, is we have a very accountable group. There is a lot of leadership from all levels on this team, and as far as the guy that surprises me, you know, maybe Cleveland, just because he is just a second-year player for us, and he was one of those guys in the recruiting process that was kind of quiet. You know, he really was. I mean, he just never said boo. You know, I mean, he's just a quiet guy, one of the most low-maintenance recruits in the history of recruiting. You know, he just never said anything. And, you know, when he came here, and he just has this, he's just such a sweet personality to him, smiles all the time, he's just very kind-hearted, and has a good spirit to him. Man, he has really become a great leader for us. And I don't know that I saw that early on in him, but he has become an incredible leader, and just takes a lot of pride in how he mentors the younger players, Rudolph and Justin, Xavier Kelly. I mean, he really goes out of his way to help lead those guys. So and not really surprised in this fall camp, because I saw it really last year, but just overall in general, didn't really see that as much in the recruiting process as to where he is right now. But the best thing we got right now is we got leadership at every position. I mean, across the board. I mean, every single position we've got really good leadership. At receiver, you know, Dion and Ray and Renfro have done an awesome job, and Travion Thompson doesn't get talked about enough. Those 4 guys have done a great job of leading. Kelly Bryant has become an outstanding leader. That's probably an area where, you know, as he kind of solidified himself, you know, he just took it upon himself to lead the guys. You know, our guys up front and the offensive line, all of them. I don't really think there's one guy that I'd just say, hey, man, Eric McLean, you know, Dalton Freeman. You know, I don't really have that guy that I'd just say, hey, he's the bell cow of the group. Maybe Robbie would answer that differently. I just think they're all close. They like each other, and they're a very accountable group. But, you know, same thing at backer, just good people, all those guys. So it's fun. It's fun to come to work with these guys every day.
Talk about the season Dorian Daniels having so far.
He's had 3 great games. He really is you know, he's kind of the Vic Beasley of this team. You know, very similar kind of paths. He always saw the talent, always saw the flash. He's always had the skill. Had to really learn. He played running back in high school. Vic played running back, and we decided we're going to play him at linebacker. And you know, he didn't know linebacker from corner when he got to Clemson, and really that kind of limited him early. Just a lot to learn. But man, what a football player. But he's put the work in. Had to physically mature and develop. Had to get serious about football. He's a very well-rounded guy. Has a lot of interests. And I think he had to really get serious about being great. And man, he did. That redshirt sophomore year, you kind of started to see some real signs in him. And then last year, he just kind of like Vic Beasley, that fourth year, redshirt junior, just took off. And all he's done this year is just pick up beyond where he left off. And it's been fun. But he's become a great leader for us, incredibly accountable. He's one of the most studious guys we got now, I think, in his preparation habits. Very versatile. You know, we've moved him around a little bit in a couple of our packages. But he's unique and dynamic. I mean, he doesn't, not a real, kind of like Vic, doesn't really fit the prototype. Maybe of what, you know, maybe you'd want him a little bigger or whatever, but golly, he's something special. I'm really proud of him. He can cover, he can support in the run game, and he can run people down, and he can tackle. I mean, he's a complete player.
Do you take some pride as a staff in having some of those kind of guys that develop later in their career and are able to get better and better throughout?
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I always try to remind the media, you know, because everybody wants to. It's on to the next guy. It's on to the next guy. I know that sells papers and all that stuff because that's who's fresh on everybody's mind. But you got guys that have been working here. Quarterback's a pretty good example. You know, raise your hand in here if you thought Kelly Bryant was going to be the starting quarterback after 3 games to be 3-0, and just did what he did at Louisville. It's a short room in here, short list. You know what? He gets better. Guys work. That's why you recruit them. I didn't recruit Kelly Bryant because I thought he was a bad player. I recruited Kelly because I thought he had everything we needed, but he needed to develop, and you have guys like that. I always, you know, equate it to sometimes you get guys and you just open up the box, no assembly required, ready to go. You know, Sammy Watkins. Like, wow. After 2 days, you go, well, okay. And then you get other guys, it's all in the box, but you got to put it together. It just takes a little while. But at the end of the day, whether it's Kevin Dodd or Shaq Lawson, you get the same thing, right? Maybe it took this guy, took a little longer. You know, sometimes it's physical, sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's just knowledge. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's technique, and but that's what I love about this game. It's a developmental game. We had a kid here, Reed Webster, still one of my favorite players. Reed Webster, I didn't know if he would ever play after about his redshirt sophomore year. I'm like, I just don't know. And in his 5th year, I think he finished second for offensive MVP. He played all 5 positions in the offensive line. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. What a great story. You know, Ryan Carter. You know, that's why we recruit football players and guys that fit our culture, guys that it's important to, and you know, we don't go recruit guys because you know we didn't recruit Adam Humphries because of Sharon Peak, which was the stories. We recruited Adam Humphries because he was a baller. And it was real obvious to see to us. I don't know why anybody else couldn't see it, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. You know, I mean, I love to see guys develop and get better. We got a lot of guys all over. And sometimes you got those superstars that show up and they shine quickly, and that's great. But other guys, most guys have to develop. Taylor Hearn, you know, man, Taylor Hearn's playing as good a football for us right now as anybody. Probably playing as good in the line as anybody in this conference. In fact, he was ACC Lineman of the Week this week. He didn't know what a pass protection was when he got here. You know, this guy was in a 4-point stance and, you know, had a lot to learn. And so he just had to kind of develop into what he is today. But he always had the tools. So it's fun. That's what makes this game great. You get football players come in all shapes and sizes, and to see them grow and mature and develop, it's pretty awesome.
Can you talk about what's